140. 140. All right, yeah, that's what I got. Here in Orlando, Florida, pretty stacked bracket tonight. Although we are a little missing in the top talent that we normally see in the forms of Dyer and Riot. We do have Utopian right here, Kiki, Day, Ewok, myself, Kuro Kagami, Mugi. So a lot of talent here. It's a pretty big bracket, and we'll see how things progress tonight.
Yeah, pretty stacked. It's the first week for UCF back, so we're seeing a lot of new faces here, a lot of new talent. So it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of like skill new talent can bring out in this first week back.
There's always people out there that don't play the game. Maybe they play casually with friends, but they just understand a couple of the mechanics of the game or just how to play very basic neutral. And so when they come out to these first weeklies, even though most people would suffer or fall fate to the infamous 0-2, you know, very first bracket you go 0-2 like the usual, some people have that innate talent in them.
Yeah.
And that lets them just kind of upset things in a way that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, not only that, it's like CFL is also a very completely different region. A lot of these like UCF students and a lot of like people here in general in this bracket are from other parts of like, not even like Florida. They're part of like, I've heard of people coming from Wisconsin. Like, yeah, they transferred to UCF.
That's quite
so
a trip.
they probably have to adapt to the crowd here because I'm seeing a lot of sets that are, thank you, a lot of sets that are gonna be really hyped up. It's gonna be CFL. This is someone that you don't really see very often, so it's gonna be very
we definitely
interesting.
have some invaders. A car of SFL players came up in the forms of like Hoover, Zurak, JoJo. There was someone else. I can't recall their name at the time.
And Glitch.
Yeah, Glitch, the ZSS. That's right. So
yeah, so
pretty exciting bracket here.
it's gonna be interesting to see how they can.
Pellonian?
Yeah, Pellonian versus Spicy, maybe.
There you go.
Spice, baby.
So was it Fox Marth? Interesting matchup. Fox largely has a decent time in neutral against Marth, where most characters would get walled out by the constant barrage of disjoints that Marth can provide. Fox can get in on Marth, and once he does, it's pretty hard for Marth to get out of it. Marth does have that combo breaker in up B, but we'll see how Pellonian and Spicy implement both their tools in this matchup as we get into the first set.
All right, first set, just gentlemening to
Smash roll the usual, yeah. As you see, right off the bat, tries to use that up B to combo break what normally would be a down air into like perhaps a grab or a perfect pivot up tilt. So he's getting punished pretty early on. I think he was a little too quick to reveal his hand with that tool. He definitely should have held it a bit longer to see what kind of conversions Pellonian can bring to the table. But because he immediately started the game with it, Pellonian's going to be looking out for it, at least for this entire game.
Okay. And also the fact that like he seems to be throwing out a lot of attacks in response. Kind of like a type A, and that's going to take this off.
Yeah. Back air's pretty hard hitting move, especially with that small blast zones of Smashville. Now you see Spicy's trying to wall out Pellonian as best he can, but Pellonian showing a really good understanding of the matchup here. Goes for the reset, but drops the extension.
Goes for the grab. Goes for the up air.
Nice tipper there. Keeps the juggle going, but barely drops it. Not realizing that Pellonian could challenge him on the way down. So the thing about Fox, which is really unfortunate and it's hard to get around, and it's what makes Fox such a good character, is his frame traps. And great air dodge read, perhaps even a reaction. But those air dodge, or I mean those frame traps come in the form of like up tilt to up air or just waiting out an option. Because Fox really pressures you to commit to an option, because if you don't air dodge, which usually is the best thing early on, you take less damage because they just go for the combo finisher, and that's it. But if you air dodge, they get a lot more time to extend and play with what your options are.
Okay.
Taking it to FD, I don't know how I feel about this. I think it definitely doesn't obstruct Marth's objective, which is to wall out. And also it lets Marth have an easier time getting Fox to the ledge because he doesn't have as many landing options, which is where Marth wants to be in this matchup. But Pellonian just starting off with a wall of pressure here. very great
not
string
letting him
there.
land. That's why I was very hesitant about saying something about like FD, especially since that's gonna take the stock again.
Whew, wow.
Pellonian
is
on a
going
roll.
good.
Because I feel like Marth doesn't have very good landing options compared to a lot of other like characters, especially mid tiers and top
Gets the
tiers.
reset.
Reset.
Keeps going. Wow. Great amount of damage there. It
Yeah.
looked like he might have wanted to go for another fastball fair, but wasn't able to convert into it. That was great use of the downward angled side B, something that Fox has a really hard time getting out of due to his fastball nature.
Very nice dancing blade coming out. Trying to catch the side B.
So that air dodge was good, but he also came down with an aerial, which he didn't need to do, and it probably cost him the game. Yeah, that's a set. Great use of the back air to really just limit Marth's options off stage, where Marth and Lucina normally